Raise the Roof Production.
Well, you'll never know the heartache of looking a grown man in the eye, and he asks, am I gonna make it? And you've got to lie. Well, they call me Doc, but I ain't got no degree. When shit hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass Kentucky, with red blood on my hands, nobody calls me hero except for my friends. Yeah, they call me Doc.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, veterans, American patriots, to the second season of Sick Call with Doc. I'm your host, Rod Doc Walbeck, and I'm joined today with my blood brother, Army Combat Medic Joe Mystic Glenn. In the back, we have the same man every single time, United States Combat veteran, Brian Devil Dog Marine Roof. And welcome to this episode of Sick Call with Doc. With us today, we have a fine gentleman, a man that I have come quickly to admire. He's an inspiration to me already in such a short period of time. I'd like to welcome to our show, James Sparks, Army Sniper, 101st Airborne Division, United States Army.
Oh,
What's up, baby?
good morning.
I'm so
Welcome,
excited to
James.
have you here today, brother. I'm so
Hell yeah.
excited to have you. We've talked in the past. We've had some conversations, and I got to know you a bit, but not like getting to know you yesterday. It has been on my mind since the moment we hung up until this moment right now. I even had a dream. So you got in me, brother, and I hope that your story today will shine your light. So we're a veteran who needs hope, a veteran who needs one more chance, a veteran who needs to get out of the darkness will see yours today. And that's what we're here for. And I thank you for being here. I took notes yesterday. I want everybody to see this, all our listeners. I took notes during our story. I do that all the time. When I talk to people, here's the notes I took. None.
Yeah.
I was so into hearing what you had to say. You had my heart so strong, I forgot to write a thing down. So welcome to the show today, brother. I'm glad you're here.
I appreciate it,
We're all
buddy.
glad
Thank you
you're
so
here.
much. Thank you.
Well, it's your floor, brother. You can start anywhere you want. You can end anywhere you want. I'll get my gosh dang camera right here in a second.
So I'm gonna start you off with a funny story on how the first time I smoked. I've got a little brother named Josh, and we got on our bicycles and we went down the street with this stuff that I always smelled my dad rolling up. And we were about he was like 9 or 10. He was actually too young, and I was a bad influence. I was like 13, and we were rolling down the street, went to my buddy's house, and we smoked. And man, it felt like we were there for 2 weeks. I think we were there for an hour and a half. On the way home, walked in the house, and stepmom walks up to me, grabs my face. Are you high? No, I was going down the gravel road, and this truck came by, and I got dust all in my eyes. Oh, okay. My brother Joshua comes in. Joshua Dale, are you high? Yup. So that was the first time that I had experienced cannabis. My father was a Vietnam veteran, and he smoked all the time. And I'd wake up in the mornings, and before he'd smoke, it'd be probably the worst experience a person could go through. I'd stand in the kitchen for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes at position of parade rest while my dad dismantled me, because he didn't spend his first 13 years with me, so I never lived up to what his expectations were. He would cut me into pieces. I would then go out to do chores, and I'd come back in, and this different man would be standing there. He'd be happy. He'd be very, very, excited. Everybody loved my dad when he was high. He was probably the most charismatic person you ever met. Nobody understood that when he smoked, he was getting rid of those demons that he brought back from Vietnam. And, I was always the oldest, so I was his only son, so I took all the brunt. And but whenever we were together and he was smoking, we had the most. We'd go fishing, we'd go hunting. He'd tell me stories. We'd communicate, and we never really ever communicated before then because my dad was gone. He was the person that to me was my hero, and it took me into the military myself. I ended up joining the Army, and I had to get away from him. It was too much, and the military saved me. I had I had a lot of great experiences while I was in the military. I was already prepared for it. A lot of people, they have difficulties with those things, and they didn't bother me. Shit, the military was easy after what I went through. And of course, you don't smoke while you're in the military. I got out of the military because I ended up having a son, and they were about to send me overseas because of the training that I'd had. I was a sniper and jumped out of planes, rappel master, done all those things. And I got out of the military and struggled for, several years because couldn't be around my father, and I had a son that I didn't know how to raise. And me and his mother, it was kind of an accident, so we never stayed together. Well, it became difficult. And, I've been through a lot. I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. I've been through a lot. My wife and I, we lost a son to suicide. Our house burned to the ground about 3 years ago. Found out my mom has brain tumor. My wife has lupus. My wife also has a brain tumor. But when people see us, we're the couple that everybody wants to be. We play. We're very, very devout. We're believers, Christians. And I will tell you that without belief and without cannabis, at 53, there's no way I'd have made it. No way. God brings you things in your life as you need them, and sometimes we don't understand the timing. But I will tell you 1,000,000% that I'm the most blessed man that there is. Cannabis has allowed me to calm myself because that PTSD from my father, I now have. And it was difficult for me with my kids because I didn't know how to not be their boogeyman. And when my father was passing away, I found out about it. And they told me he had a brain tumor. And I went to the hospital. And, well, it's not a brain tumor. It's lesions. Well, it's not just in his brain. It's in his lungs. Well, it's not just in his lungs. It's in his skin. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm taking him home. My dad came home, and we'd never smoked together before. At that time, I was in the car business. I was a general manager of a dealership. I had probably 250 employees. And some nights I'd get home 10, 11 o'clock at night. Didn't matter. He was there waiting in the garage, waiting to talk to me about my day, have a smoke with me. And we had conversations I'd never had before. When he first met my wife, just to show you how hard of a person he was, my wife's a black lady. She's a beautiful black woman. My dad looked at her and looked at me and goes, well, she's a bit tan, ain't she, James? They're fun to play with, just don't marry her. He said that to me and her. So that was my father. But as he found out that his time was limited and there wasn't a whole lot of people volunteering to take care of him while he was passing, he fell in love with my wife and her mother. And it's funny how God changes you before you go. He's always going to teach you lessons if you'll listen, if you'll focus on it, and if you'll actually receive it. And I watched him change. I watched him become a different person. He was appreciative. He was humble. And when the doctors told him he wasn't going to make it, they looked him in the eye and said, Mr. Sparks, it's terminal. My dad looked at him and goes, what, you think I'm supposed to be afraid of dying? I ain't afraid of dying. And I'd never seen such strength in my whole life, you know. And my dad smoked ever since Vietnam. It was the only thing that gave him any kind of peace. It was the only thing that would make him to where he could get those demons away. And in the end, he was saved. He was going to church. He had been rebaptized, which I found out, and he was just different. And as he passed away, all of the things that bothered me my whole life, the insecurities, the all those feelings that people are going through probably whenever they're not sure what life is going, what's going on, if they're supposed to be here. And they were all gone. It was gone immediately. It was like I was saved. And everything's been different. My life has been different. All of a sudden, my wife was a social worker for the state of Kansas her entire life. After our son committed suicide, she was on leave for almost a year and a half. People kept giving her their leave so she could stay home, so she could try and get this figured out. And they ended up finally having to let her go. Well, at that time, I was running 3 dealerships, running too hard, just missing everything. And me and the guy that ran it had a conversation, and he goes, you know, I think that you're supposed to be doing something different. I said, I do too. He says, well, why don't we make today your last day? I said, I was going to say the same thing. I walked in the house and I said, well, honey, I lost my job. She goes, well, I did too. And I got a phone call from a fellow that owned a roofing company, and he asked me if I wanted to come sell roofs for him. Make a long story short, I own the company now. Our house burned to the ground 3 years ago. Everybody cried. Everybody was sad. I told my wife, I said, you know what? We're going to buy property. We're going to build a beautiful house on the hill. We're not going to owe a dime on it. She's like, okay. Well, we had to live in an RV for 2 years while I built the house, but it's done. And we don't owe a dime. And I got my own grow room. And I got just about all the strains I ever wanted. And as you can see, even got a little slit in my eye this morning. You could probably blindfold me with dental floss right now. But
James, something that's sticking in my brain. Your father and the memories you had of him, the best of times was when cannabis and faith ruled.
Yeah.
The medicine your father took, the graciousness he learned through his faith, or his strength in his faith. Those are the best times you had with your father, was when he was medicated and believed in a higher being. And that's,
I mean, it's funny though, cannabis brings everybody together. Cannabis brings everyone together. You know, I've got so many people, you know, I'm parts of groups and things like that. And obviously you and I, you know, we do things together, you know, with your business, but it's more than that. It brings everyone together. You know, I've got people that it's so hard to explain. I don't know, you know, I've got a gentleman, his name, I'm not going to give his first name. Let's just call him Harmon. Well, this gentleman was going through some things, you know, in his relationships in his life. And he reached out to me, and, you know, we had a conversation, and I just told him, I said, brother, I said, you're focusing on the wrong things. You know, you got to focus on the blessings. You got to focus on what brings you peace in life. You got to focus on what makes you, you. And you got to give. Everyone just gives with expectation. You got to give, not only give, but you got to bless. And that's one thing that I've become known for in the communities is that, you know, I'll send out boxes, you know, care packages, you know, like we got when we're in the military. And I'll send out seeds, and I'll send out things, and, you know, I'll just for no reason, but I don't send little ones, you know, I hook them up. And I want people to understand that this plant, it can change more. I mean, it can solve everything. When you wake up and you've got this feeling in your heart and you've got things going wrong, you know, open up a seed catalog. Think about the next strain you're going to order. Research it. Mm-hmm. Find out what other people's grows look like. Find out what they did. order the seeds, and then you're waiting for them to come in the mail. And then when they finally come in the mail and you get to pop them, you're like, everybody, hey, look, I got them. And then you go pop them. And then you're waiting for them to pop through the dirt,
Right.
and then you're vegging and then you're taking clones and then you're cutting some of the males out because, it's not every one of them is going to be perfect female, but that's the same with life, man. My grandmother told me whenever I was a kid, my name's James, but she called me Jimmy. She said, Jimmy, what's wrong with you? I said, Grandma, this or that and the other. She says, life's like a garden. Everything comes up. It all looks like a flower. When you find out the weeds, not necessarily in this situation does this work, but you'll get what I'm saying. You pluck the weeds. You just get rid of them because life is too short. And you spend more time with the flowers. My grandma was a smart woman. She never smoked cannabis, but I'll tell you what, man, she was powerful. And I miss her. And I'll tell you that the plant can do a lot of things, man. How many colors? How many smells? How many flavors? How many medicinal values? I mean, what more than God could have put that here for us?
Right.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else. What else can solve all of our problems and all of our issues and give us hope? I mean, because if you're not hoping for the next strain, you're hoping for the harvest, you're hoping for the veg, you're hoping to learn something new like lactobacillus, you're hoping to hook up with utopic essentials, you're hoping to make a new friend in the cannabis industry. How many friends have I made in the cannabis industry? How many? I just really don't know what else brings us together like that besides faith.
I'll tell you, James, I gotta talk like what Rod was saying, man. There's something that's just on my mind right now since you spoke about it. Reason being is because I fit into that story, which is basically why we do these things, is to let everybody know that you're not alone, that somebody else has experienced this. And so I'd like to share with you and your father. My stepfather was a Vietnam veteran and treated me much like that. Parade rest, I had chores and they had to be right. And I had to do things in specific order. If I didn't, it was on, right? But as far as how after he smoked, my stepdad didn't, so I didn't get that part. But as far as my son and me, we have a similar story to you and your father, where we had conversations that we never would have otherwise because we smoked together. I smoked my first joint with my boys. My boys rolled me my first joint, and I had my first experience with them, and it was beautiful, right? And I noticed that you were getting emotional about that, and it hits my chest heavy too, because there was many years that I was not the father I needed to be, and they needed me to be. And so with all the medications that the VA was shoving down my throat, it changed me. And my mental capacity was diminished because of my PTSD. But once cannabis came in, it made me see things in completely different lights, and they were comforting lights, right?
Right.
And to be able to have an experience with my son, similar to what you're talking about, man, it's a beautiful thing. And I appreciate you sharing that with us, man. That reminded me of that beautiful moment that I had with my boys.
That's amazing. Yeah. What a connection.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we're about 18 minutes in, and I have never had the opportunity to talk to an Army sniper eye to eye in the same moment, like at the same time. Would you mind taking us back a little bit and tell us what it's like to become one, and the training you go through? And I mean, we all seen the movies, brother.
I spent my first duty station was in Korea, and I was over 6 feet tall. I'm 6'2". So I was on the bus, and not really sure where they're dropping me off. They just kept dropping guys off as they're heading north. We keep heading north. And we come on the other side of the Imjin-gak, and everybody kept talking about grief. I hope I'm not going to grief. Man, I don't want to go to grief. And then we pulled up in front of Camp Greaves. I was like, oh, shit. So it's the furthest post that you can get in Korea. And when I got there, I had a little bit of an attitude, chip on my shoulder. So they decided to put the machine gun on me. The machine gun weighs 23.5 pounds. Every 100 rounds weighs 7.3 pounds or something like that. So we're carrying 1,000 rounds, so 70 pounds of ammo, 23-pound gun, and then our sacks. So when they'd stand us up, I'd be on my butt with my pack and everything on. They'd reach up and grab my arms, and they'd stand me up. And we'd hit the mountains, because in Korea, nothing's flat. And what it did is it put me in amazing shape. Well, when I came back from Korea, they sent me to 101st Airborne Division. And there was recon was there watching us all as we walked in. And they said, you, we want you to take a PT test. Well, me and the guy I went in with, his name's Cameron. I call him Coach. That was my nickname for him. He's a massive human being. He's like 6'5", and he's a big boy. And he and I were attached to the hip. My name was Sparks. His name was Stevens. So in basic, our bunks were together. We went to Korea. I mean, everything, so we were always together. Well, he started out as my assistant gunner, and then he was a machine gunner, and then he was my spotter, and then he was a fellow sniper. Well, they made us take a PT test, right? And Coach and I, we'd been used to running the mountains in Korea, so we just killed it. And I'm a farm boy, and so was he. So we knew how to shoot. And you just take it to another level, when you're looking at heat patterns and global positioning and wind and anything that can affect that round when it's traveling, at a certain velocity at a certain distance. And, you got to know how that all affects the round in order to know where you place it. And it's pretty incredible, but actually all the things that can affect it when you get out to that kind of a distance. But, we always had the best of the best. I mean, when you're a sniper, man, we always had, all the ammunition we ever needed. They never really messed with us at all. We were, as far as Army goes, without, getting into, Rangers and things like that, which most of us were that as well. We were the elite.
You mentioned something earlier, brother, about the perfect girl, the perfect plant, the perfect lady. Apparently you found one. How did you and your girl meet? How'd you get to this spot?
Funny story is that I spent 17 years with my previous, and what she did was drank all the time. And she was an alcoholic, and she wasn't an atheist, but she was agnostic. So she knew something was out there, but she didn't believe. Well, I thought I could save her. I tried to make it last, and it just didn't work. Well, she decided that she wanted a divorce, and I obliged her. But I met my current wife now, and she's probably in the bedroom studying her Bible right now. I mean, she's 10 inside and out. She's the most beautiful woman, the most beautiful creature you've ever seen. And nobody loves me like her. It's just different. There's no judging. I asked her, if it bothered her that I smoked, because she never drank or never smoked before she met me. And I told you she has lupus and she has a brain tumor. Well, guess what? She smells that stuff now. She's like, oh, is that skunk? Oh, no. That's the haze, isn't it? I need to have some of that. My wife is she is all about it. She loves it. She takes the what am I trying to say? Now I'm sitting there having a brain fart. That RSO. She takes the RSO in and out of the evening, because it's the only thing that will give her any type of relief. Because, I mean, she gets that lupus, man. I'm going to tell you something, boys, and there's no cure. It affects her joints. It affects her muscles. It takes a woman who used to be a runway model and makes her have to have a cane at 52. So it's incredible. But since we moved out of the city and since we moved to the country, she's had one episode. She used to have them every 2 or 3 weeks in the city. Facts. And she's taking the RSO and she when we were in the city. She's taking it now. Does that have anything to do with it? Yeah, I think so. Good night's sleep every night. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's the only thing besides something that they give her, from the doctor that's gonna, whatever we know the side effects of that. I mean, she was taking some stuff one time and it made her put on this water weight, and she gained like 50 pounds in 2 weeks, and she freaked out. And these medicines that they give us, they're designed to kill us. They're not designed to help us, you know.
Right. That's facts. They're designed to keep you on it, you know. And real quick, I wanted to go back. You were speaking of RSO or Rick Simpson oil and FICO. Yep. FICO is full extraction cannabis oil. And so for the viewers, that's what he's speaking on. And a lot of people with the cancers and all these other really hardcore illnesses, the RSO is really doing a bang up job on helping people out, man. I'm so glad that she found the concentrate like that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
every
yeah,
person
she doesn't
I've ever talked to.
Find, you know, where I'm at in life without her, you know. So it's just, I'm blessed. I'm a blessed man. So
yes, you are. That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Man. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and take a break right now, catch our breath.
Right.
And we'll come back in a quick minute and move on to some other issues with James. What do y'all think?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Veteran Voice Radio, where we honor the brave and celebrate their stories through music. Tune in to two incredible stations, Ranger Rockwave and Simplify Country. On Ranger Rockwave, experience the raw energy of alternative rock featuring talented musicians who are veterans and military family members. Their powerful stories and unforgettable tunes will inspire you and keep you rocking. Switch over to Simplify Country, where the heart of country music meets the spirit of service. Enjoy heartfelt ballads and toe-tapping tunes from veterans and their families sharing their journey through song. Join a community that honors those who serve. Veteran Voice Radio, music with a mission. Discover Ranger Rockwave and Simplify Country at veteranvoiceradio.com, or you can also download the app on Apple or Google and let the stories of our heroes resonate through your speakers.
And we're back with James Sparks, 101st Airborne Army Sniper. I tell you, on the break, let's take a quick breath. I'm like cigarettes.
No breath for you.
A quick breath of 2,000 chemicals.
Yeah.
I don't even know what question to ask you, James. What I'm amazed by, what inspires me, is your ability to have so much humility, so much graciousness, at times insurmountable odds. And I'm really thankful you got to have time with your father, because I got to have time with my dad too before he passed. A lot of time. And I don't regret a second of whatever I might have missed during that time. So it reminds me a lot of my life when you talked about your dad. My dad wasn't anything like your father in other regards. He never had to go to war, things like that. He was a very loving, kind man my whole life. And to get that time with him before he passed was priceless. Priceless. I'll never not be thankful for that. And on top of all the other things, brother, your generosity is astounding to me. You ain't got to do none of the things that you do. You can just sit there with your pretty girl and do your thing up there and grow your weed, smoke your medicine, and live out your life with your grandkids. But you've decided to do more than that. I applaud you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
such a great example of what a great man can be. No matter your situation, no matter what God gave you the cards, you can always find the light, your light, and shine. It's amazing to me.
I appreciate that. You know, we never know who's watching. You know, I was having a conversation last week. There was one of the gentlemen that works in our company. Notice I said he didn't work for me. One of the gentlemen that worked in our company. He came up to me, and he's worked with me since he was like 18. He's like 32 now. And he said, my wife asked me last week if there's something wrong with our relationship. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, we don't ever argue. And I said, well, do you think she's saying that because you guys don't communicate? He's like, no, we actually communicate really well. And I said, well, okay, what are you asking me here? He said, well, this is what I told her. I told her that if we can have a relationship like what James and Angela has, we'll be blessed. And I've seen them since I was young, the things they've been through, and to see that they're still like they're on their honeymoon. He says, I've just never seen anything like it. I've never seen people who've lost a child. I've never seen people who have lost a home. I've never seen people who've lost family, and they're still so happy. That's what I want for us. And that's the relationship that I want. And that's probably the best compliment. I just can't get over it. You know, he said that to me probably a couple months ago, and it just resonates with me. And those are the types of things that, you know, I used to enjoy being the guy in the deer stand to shoot the big buck. You know, I get more out of helping other people and watching them do it and seeing their excitement and seeing their happiness, you know. And it's the same thing with the plant. You know, I mailed out some care packages, and there was probably 30 packs of seeds in most of them. And they're like, oh my gosh, how are you doing this? Well, thanks for the sponsors. What do you mean thanks for the sponsor? Ain't no sponsor. I ain't being sponsored. I'm just trying to bless somebody. I'm trying to make somebody's year. I'm not just trying to them open up and go, oh, thanks, this is cool. You know, I want to help change something for them. And I just think that's what we're missing. You know, the government, they've got us all picking that scab.
Yeah.
You know, if we stay on Facebook and we stay on X and we stay on these Twitters and whatever, you know, they're going to pick your scab, and they're going to find out what it is that gets to you. Mm-hmm. And they're going to use that to put us all against each other. And it honestly surprises me that they're allowing marijuana to become legal, because they think it's dumbing us down. They don't realize that it might just unite us, and it might bring us all together, and it might make us all communicate better, and it might make us all stop being so damn. What the hell are we so mad about?
Yeah.
What
exactly?
What gives you mad at? What are you going to do if tomorrow's the last day you have on Earth? Mm-hmm. You're going to spend today pissed off,
right?
Or are you going to try and change somebody or help someone? That's the way I live, man.
And during these times, who the fuck knows?
Right.
Right.
Hey,
exactly.
You know, so James, man, I wanted to touch on something that you had mentioned before the break. You were talking about your PTSD from your father. You know, I don't know if you wanted to get into that at all, but I wanted to put a name to that. It's secondary PTSD, or you know, and so it's like secondhand smoke. Think of it that way. The longer you're around it, the more it's going to affect you. And so, yes, this is a very real thing, but understand that most of the struggles that we picked up on because of the secondary portion of whoever the veteran or the PTSD person was, those aren't our things that to carry. But us being, you know, empathetic people and caring people, and, you know, being that it was your father, you cared enough to hold that shit dearly to yourself. Understand that you can let those things go and make sure that they don't necessarily fit into your daily life. He wore those, unfortunately. You don't have to. If that makes sense.
I struggled with so many of those things for so long, and I was so worried that, you know, I was going to put that on my son.
Yes.
You know, I have a 31-year-old boy, and I'm thankful that he spent his time growing up with his mother. And I know how that sounds to a lot of you, but I wasn't ready. If I would have passed those things on to him that were passed on to me whenever I was a child,
mm-hmm.
You know, it's not something that I would have ever wanted to do to anybody. Now, God's obviously put me in a position to where I'm, you know, he's strengthened me, and you know, and I understand what it's for. I see the thing, you know, I understand that he's made me strong for a reason. Mm-hmm. But Doc, I see you want to say something.
Do your children, have you discussed their grandpa with them, brother?
Yeah, see, with my oldest boy, the conversation that I had with him is I was glad that his mother raised him, because I didn't want the same animosities, the same issues that, you know, may not even been passed down from my father, but definitely transferred me through to PTSD. And my son, you know, he went in the Navy, and he went in with a plan. I mean, he's just different than me. He's had a plan since he was 5. He told me at 5 years old, Dad, I'm going to be an engineer. Okay, I'm just a grunt, so I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll figure it out, you know. We're discouraging, but
Yeah.
whenever he was older, we'd give him money for Christmas and things, and he would just give it to his mom, and she'd put it in a savings account. And he saved every dime he was ever given. The boy is just, I don't want to say and brag on my son, but he just signed on with Black and Beach, and he's an engineer. So
that is so cool.
That's beyond cool.
Can you tell us about your boy that's no longer with us? What was he like?
So his name is Mikey, and I wasn't his birth father, but he and I had an amazing relationship, and this is really going to get you. My wife decided to let him start smoking cannabis. He was very, very cut off. He was very quiet. Always would go to his room, stay to himself, always away from everybody. And she asked me if I would smoke with him at 16 years old. I said, sure. He would start coming in when I'd get home from work, and we'd have conversations about his day, and we'd have smoke. And he would always walk in the bedroom with this goofy look on his face, and he would go, hey, James, what you doing? You mind if we smoke? He would do it the same way every time. He'd have some weird off-the-wall question, you know, you think the sky's going to fall today? You want to smoke? And we'd have a conversation, you know, and he just always had a darkness about him. He always had, you know, the devil lives in idle thoughts and dark places. And when we're alone and we're by ourselves and we're not part of a network, or we're not part, you know, family's not there, I mean, we get these thoughts, and we don't realize that the devil lives in those places. And the devil's a liar. The devil's a liar. And he's going to tell you, you know, that, you know, life isn't fulfilling, or you'll never be worth it, or it's never going to happen for you, or, you know, and if you can sit there and believe it, I mean, listen to my story and tell me there's not a God. Tell me he doesn't deserve all the praise and all the glory, because it might be over tomorrow. You don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And how do you want to live today? What are you going to do? You know, who are you going to bless? And that's, like I said before, that's the way I try and be, because when I was in sales before, it wasn't about that. I'd run over you, run through you. Share something else with you. I owned a mortgage company after I got out of the car business, and I know everybody's heard of the mortgage crisis, right? When the rates dropped and all of a sudden there was all these loans going bad and no one knew what was going on. Well, I owned a very large mortgage company that had $216 million worth of loans that went through it that were fraudulent. And when I found out about it, I volunteered and found out where they were, and I went down and what can I do to help? And I got involved, and found out that there was guys that were committing fraud and doing things in my office. And of course, I found out about that. I shut it down, and we found out what was done and prosecuted. So you can come out of anything if you have the right support. You can come out of anything if you have hope. You can come out of any situation if you just believe, and something's got to give you belief. And for a lot of us, the plant is a great start. It's a great start because it'll help you understand if you see the things it can do for you, if you see the things it can do for other people. And, you know, sharing those seeds with those people, you don't think that that's going to change their year? Man, imagine them when they pop whenever they grow them, and when they share those pictures, and when they share them with me, and we help each other, and we help them to see its potential, and what is this plant going to do for me medicinally, and how is it going to, is this one going to help me with sleep? Is this one going to help me to eat? Is this one going to help me to have a good evening and to be elevated? Is this one going to make me depressed? It's just, the plant can do it all.
It goes further than that, because then they have that medicine that they can share with their friends and have good times together, and so on and so on.
Yeah,
it's the gift that keeps on giving, brother.
And not to mention, you're talking about seeds, packs of seeds, right? But you didn't talk about the other seeds that you planted already for them by being generous, by giving to people and putting the idea in their head that they should pay it forward for other people. You're planting seeds.
Well, think about the people that see me and they think, well, isn't he a pothead? Wait, doesn't he own American Patriots Roofing? I heard y'all say American Patriot in the beginning, and I kind of giggled because that's the name of my company. American Patriot, Kansas City, Missouri. Let me know if I can help you.
That's right.
So,
ding, ding.
So, yeah. But I lost my train of thought. Well, I took myself.
You were planting seeds more than just cannabis. I promise you. You're just hope and faith and all these other things that you're giving to people is allowing them to think about it more and possibly give it to someone else.
The stigma. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody thinks, well, James, wait a minute, isn't he a pothead? Well, hold on. He's one of the owners of American Patriots Roofing. Yeah. He doesn't owe any money on his property, and he's got a very healthy marriage, and he's a believer, and he gives, and he's actually a great guy, and he smokes cannabis.
Right.
It's funny.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be lazy, right?
Right.
You're not supposed to be able to be high and have a child with IQ.
Right.
My son's an engineer. Mm-hmm. He was a nuclear engineer in the Navy. He's a fucking rocket scientist. Didn't obviously affect my children. There's just so much that so many people, because we smoke, they look down on us. But fact of the matter is that by making it legal, they're making it so we can unite. I mean, they're making it so we can all come together, and they're making it easier for us to communicate with each other.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm a true believer, especially later in life and doing this show and getting older, that for veterans who are struggling and they're in the dark and they're having a hard time, there is hope all around you if you're willing to look. I don't care if you get on your phone and watch videos of babies laughing.
Yeah.
Watch a kid play with a dog, a family dog. I mean, there's hope all around us. What I'm battling, and I think from the whole first season, and we're going to get into this in a live soon, is it'll be in the past once this comes out, is I'm struggling with how it's possible, or what is it that helps, that one veteran can come back from the service, struggle, find their way, and then become the beacon, and just go after their dreams. And other veterans stick in the foxhole, in the fog for so much longer than others who've seen equal stuff. Let's pretend. How can one, what is it? What is it? Is it one thing, or is it a multitude of things that creates the difference?
Well, there's different coping mechanisms, I believe. And I think it happens, it's just everything that, like what I went through when I grew up, and what we all have been through when we grew up, all the hard times and all those things prepare us for those types of things. The problem is the support is gone. We don't have the mother and father in many situations. We don't have people out there, because when I was a kid, the entire church would come together, and everybody, was supporting of you. And most people don't go to church anymore. Most people are just trying to stay at home and work. And again, the devil lives in dark places. So we're taking ourselves, when one or more believers together, the Lord is present. And what they've done is they've taken us all away from each other, and they've secluded, and they've made it more difficult. So consequently, that's the whole reason why we're going the direction that we're going. but they've screwed up. They've screwed up because they're making the plant legal because they think it's making us dumber, not realizing that it's going to help us to communicate more if we just all understand. It's like being able to see blessings. It's like being able to see the trees through the forest. Are you the guy just looking at all the woods, or are you seeing everything that's going on? And that's what it does. It allows you to focus. It allows you to be able to see what's going on and not buy into the bullshit, to slow down and get your own information, because we've been given enough disinformation about the plant for how many years? How can we believe anything else they say?
Lifetimes. They've done this to us for lifetimes, at least my whole life. And so I know there's more lifetimes involved, but man, it's amazing. But you know, I had something to add to your little question, Rod. At least, you know, as far as what allows one to recover and become and be better, and not another. Was that your question, Rod?
Well, I'm not worried about the ones that find it. I'm concerned with the ones that are still in it.
Right.
And so what's the key to the door, guys? I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think there's many keys, in my opinion, right? But one of them is the acknowledgement that post-traumatic stress or whatever it is that's fucking you up, you don't allow that to define who you are as a human being or who you want to be. And just because your service is over, that doesn't mean your life is. That means that is a section of your life that you successfully completed or lack thereof, however you see that. But you still have the rest to do. And by focusing on other people's needs, that allows you to understand what you really need. That's just my humble opinion on that. And we could add 5 more details to that, but that's one of them.
I think too, we go in so young and so impressionable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happens is that what is there always and consistently every single day you wake up, your eyes open, what is there? Their mission. You are working for their mission, their things, doing your thing for them.
Yep.
It's all their stuff. And when you get out, you've never, other than joining, you've never had your own mission.
Right.
You never had to use, in the Navy, initiative was a big part of our evaluation, your self-initiative. And I think some people lose that when they get out, that initiative, their motivation. If you can take your own initiative to find things that heal you, make you happy, that give you hope, you got to go look for it. Sometimes it just won't fall in your lap, people. You got to have the initiative to go find the things that give you hope. It's out there. It's all around us, man.
Yep.
It's around us right here in front of me today.
Yep. Just the stories.
You can reach out to anybody, man. You know, there's always a phone call or always someone that's going to make you feel better. You know, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a mother, maybe it's a brother, maybe it's just a smoke buddy, you know, but you've got to get out of them dark places, because that's where the attack happens, man. You know, and it's not your own mind. It's not your own conscious. That's not what's going on, because that's not you, not us. That's not what we were trained to be. That's not the men that we are. That's not the women that we are. You know, that's not what God put us here for, you know. And when you figure that out and you start focusing on those things, man, it's mind blowing.
It is.
I expect it. I was reading an article yesterday about a woman that lived years and years ago who would enter into competitions, and she would enter into them knowing she was going to win. Power of positive thinking. She would go through all the emotions of winning. She would, you know, tell herself who she would call when she won, what she would do when she won, and she would just think about it. And that was the only thing she would think about until it came to happen. And when it happened, she always won. Everybody was like, "What?" It's the same thing with anything, guys. Mm-hmm. You're gonna let yourself be happy, or you're gonna let yourself be sad. Nobody else controls that but you, and you've got to figure that out, and you've got to find the support that allows you to figure that out, and you got to find what makes you happy. What the hell could make you happier than perfectly grown cannabis?
Right?
What could make you feel better than the skunkiest skunk that we had when we were 20 years old? Nothing. I just found that too, guys. I actually, Katsu has got it, and I got that plant. And I'm going to tell you, I'm happier than a pig in shit. Excuse my language. But there's nothing that excited me more than growing that skunk and having that old smell. And remembering my buddies and I getting busted because we thought no one else could smell it because, you smoke it, everyone else smells it.
I don't smell anything.
The emotion that brought out, and the plant for me every time brings that emotion. When I go out and I turn the temps down, the next day I go out and they're all sticky and shiny and looking like I just walked into a jewelry store, right. Or the first time you get to test it with your buddies and you watch one of them just kind of go, did you knock out?
Yeah.
Right.
It was good. You can knock them out. So,
that good stuff. You can have an open bag in a stadium, and it's just you. And somebody can walk and go, "Is that you, bro? It smells like that."
Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, there's
good
nothing
stuff.
else. So, for sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So, if you were given 60 seconds to say anything you want to your fellow brothers and sisters that are having a hard time, what's the most important thing to say to them to help them find their way?
Help is out there. You just got to figure out how to find yourself again. You got to figure out, that you're still there, and you got to know that people care. People do care about you. We're not doing this for money. We're not doing this for anything else other than selfishly and what it does for us, if you want to know the truth about it, because of the way it makes us feel. Mm-hmm. And if you try what we're telling you and you don't think about yourself and you just try and help someone else and see how it makes you feel, see how that directs you in your life, and see how God blesses you, I think you'll find real quickly that, this life is pretty amazing. I went through hell as a child. I can't imagine going, we raised fighting chickens and pit bulls. And my father was a Hell's Angel. He thought that partying and he thought that fighting chickens and fighting dogs and everything, he thought that was the most important thing. So, and then he had his demons. So you can just imagine, physicality was normal at my house. He'd snap oh my God, it seemed like he had 11 feet arms. But how the hell did he hit me from clear over there? But, I'll tell you.
Octopus.
You might just need to punch yourself in the nuts and just go and just recover and get up and straighten yourself off and knock the dust off and holler at us and let us share some secrets with you. Let us share some experiences with you, and let us show you that, it can be so much more rewarding and everything can change and so quick and you don't even realize it. My house burned to the ground 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Our son committed suicide 7 years ago. And my life is so incredible. And I know I'll see them. I know they're waiting. And the cool part is that they're waiting there together. And I'm going to do as much as I can while I'm here to make sure I'm there. And I'm going to try and help and bless as many people and be a positive influence on as many people as I can. And if you do the same thing, it'll heal what you have inside.
I know for a fact, brother, that life is a gift, and how you live it is your gift back. What do you want to give back in that gift?
Yep. I've never been snow skiing in my life. I'm 53 years old. And we just took our company to Winter Park, Colorado, and went snow skiing. And I don't know if you've ever strapped yourself onto a pair of skis doing 40 mile an hour down a mountain, but let me tell you something, brother. Woo! Oh my goodness.
I will not. I can't.
You know what? Life's too short. I got back problems. Y'all think you got better knees or worse knees? I
was just going to ask you about your knees, bro. How'd your knees hold up? That's what I was going to ask you.
I just went at my pace. I'm not trying to show off to nobody else. I'm not trying to impress anyone.
Right.
I'm just trying to impress myself, and I was impressed. I came home in one piece, and it was exhilarating. And my son and I had an experience that he'll never forget. You know, I always try and push him out of his comfort zone. He's an engineer, so I take him. We go hog hunting in the South with knives. Nice. I know it's horrible. We go shark fishing. I take him skiing and then in the mountains. You know, I do crazy stuff with him. You know, because I want him to experience what this life's all about. And I will tell you that in Colorado, for the first time, we smoked together.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
Your 31-year-old boy?
Yep. He's been in the Navy for 6 years. He just got home, you know, and we went on this vacation, and we went into a dispensary together, and he got some edibles, and he took one, and about 30 minutes later, I looked in the back seat, and he was like this. Nice. Son, are you okay?
Should I call 911?
Are you all right? He calmed down after a while. We had a great fun.
For those that don't know, Winter Park, if my memory serves me correctly, is about 10,400 feet above sea level. I lived in Grant, Colorado. It was 8,500 feet above. And I went to Mount Evans, which was 14,000+ feet above sea level. And up there, we took a bowl and a lighter, and we had the hardest time lighting that bowl that high up in the air with no oxygen, man. And I remember I go, I'll be right back. We forgot the lighter. So I ran back to the car. When I got back to the car, I was on one knee, man. I had no air. And I walked the lighter back. And we tried to light that bowl, man. It was hard as hell to light that bowl.
You got to go over here, and you got to get size for your boots. And if you haven't walked in ski boots, oh my God. Oh,
like Mickey Mouse.
I smoked before I even put my. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm done. Send me home, but I wasn't gonna quit. Wasn't about. Wasn't about. But it was pretty cool. It was a pretty neat experience, and I was very, very blessed to be able to do it with my son. So yeah, for sure.
So what do you got going on for the future, brother? You're not a man without a dream. You're not a man without a mission or a goal. What's happening?
Friday we're going skiing again, because I already called him. I'm like, because we got a local place out here that not near what they got in Colorado, but Friday he and I are going skiing again for sure. But you know, right now it's my downtime. I take this time to reflect. You know, I'm not putting people on roofs when it's dangerous. So you know, we're just relaxing right now, and we're just kind of enjoying and feeling just feeling all the blessings. You know, and that's why when we spoke yesterday, you know, and you asked me if I was interested in, you know, sharing my information, I was like, this couldn't have never happened at a more perfect time, because you could even ever get me to even answer a Facebook message or even a phone call. You would, because I think it's business, but you know, it's difficult to reach me. So everything just kind of lined up as it was supposed to. And
that's happened a lot doing this show.
I call it deja vu. There's no such thing. I mean, it's not deja vu. You know, it's predestined. It was planned. It was supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. And I just hope that there's at least one of my brothers out there that has listened, that has gotten something out of this, and will get up off your ass and just freaking enjoy.
Come on. Yeah. Let's go.
Come on. Holler at us.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's gonna remember James? Who's gonna forget Doc? You can't forget Doc. I mean,
no.
My God, look like clean with the chicken man beard, you know, from KFC.
I forget this shit, right?
Don't worry, I'm on my way.
Yeah, come on, brother. Yeah. Hey, you just gotta give in. You just gotta give in and go for it, bro.
Yep.
I quit caring about that stuff so long ago, man. It's not important. It's not important. What's important is this, you know, stuff like this is what's important.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I wanted to touch base on one last thing. You know, our slogan for Sick Call with Doc is there for you then and here for you now. For Joe and I, that means a lot.
Yes.
That means a lot to us. Mm-hmm. And we mean that more than most words that come out of our mouth, huh, Joe?
That's fact.
is it's given me blessings in my life I never thought were coming.
Amen to that.
And James, thank you for coming out and sharing your story. I look forward to hearing all your cool shit in the future.
Yeah, man.
Sit up there, love life, take care of your lady, enjoy the rest of your days, man. And I'm glad to be a part of it with you, man. Thanks for being here for us.
Yeah, man.
James, you guys more.
It was an absolute pleasure meeting you. And like Rod said, man, I can't wait to hear some more stories from you. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
We're gonna cut out of here, man. Don't hang up, because I want to talk to you after. And I want to thank everybody who's been supporting Sick Call with Doc through all of first season. Tell your friends. Wait, with timeout. We're gonna have to talk about this first off. You're meeting us in the Super Bowl, right, homie? You know it's the Lions. You know it's the Lions. It's time for y'all to get knocked off your little pedestal.
I love the Lions. I look forward to it. That'd be great.
It's gonna come down to that. You watch and see, brother. It's gonna be me and you. I can't wait. All right. Hey, thank you everybody for checking in with us, and here's to a whole new second season. We got a new intro. We got some commercials coming and all cool new things.
Yeah.
And we can't wait just to keep sharing story after story of resilience, strength, courage, just like James Sparks has shown all of us today. Thanks for joining us, guys. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.